Aloha, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Let's Play Dark Souls with yours truly, me, Delicate Blood. Alright, so, sorry about that. Last time I got interrupted because my computer started getting glitchy, and I really don't know what caused it. So, we're about to go into this tower. So, as I left off the last episode saying, there's two ways to approach this tower. One is from coming from the underside, which is the way you're supposed to. However, if you have the master key, there is another way to access this area. For this fight that I was talking about, I would recommend having a shield that has a 100% block minimum. I found this Boulder Side shield, obviously, but what might be better for you is the Dark Heater shield, or not the Dark Heater shield, but a Heater shield, um, which you can buy from the first vendor in the game, or the Night Shield, which you should have picked up along the way. I would also recommend not necessarily a slashing weapon, although this is slashing and thrust, but a thrust weapon specifically. Blunt weapons will be fine, but specifically, I found this rapier. I believe I actually got it off of a Balder Knight. To be honest, there is somewhere to find it, so I will show that off. So if this guy's giving you trouble, that's where you can get it. But we're gonna go in and fight him. Enough talk, enough pregame. So you charge in, and where is he? He's always waiting on that side of the door. So right now that we're facing the door, he'd be on the left-hand side of the door. Now he plays with an extremely heavy weapon, and that just did terrible damage. I don't know if I feel like 79 damaging him to death. And that was foolish. Now this guy will one-shot basically any person, unless you get a lot of vitality or a much higher armor rating. So that's why you want to play with... Darn it, that's not what I meant. Rah. So here, even though he's blocking with his two-handed weapon, and note that that does come over his shoulder, so you can be partially hit with the backswing of it. But honestly, you should be able just to circle strafe around him most of the time. If you want to get in an extra hit, that is probably your best time as he stands back up. This is one of those guys, though, however, I will never encourage parrying on, because his weapon's so heavy. Even though it's very predictable, if you miss that, it's going to be an instant kill, and his weapon is just a very large club weapon. So there's very few armors that are going to resist it properly. So I find this method, although very boring to watch, and sometimes the camera will kind of do a little bit of a glitch on you there, but truth be told, with 100% block, you should be able just to do nothing but circle straight around his, what would be his shield side, wait for him to swing, get up to his back, and stab him. And here, I mean, like, I've done it enough times, it should be pretty obvious, but again, you have to get your own feel for the game as well. There's going to be times where you're going to do it too early, like right there, where you're going to do it on his side, and there's times where you're going to be doing it too late, and he probably will get a kill off him. But if you take your time, just make sure that you block all of his attacks. He's more of an enemy that you can whittle them down, and you're very less likely to make a mistake on them than you are to out-damage them and win. So just don't get greedy. But he gives you a very important piece of equipment, which will very well help us out. So we already have the Wolf Ring. I will keep that on, but now we get Havel's Ring, which increases your equipment burden, the maximum, by 50%. So there you can see I get exactly 50% increase. I will equip that. I'm not a big fan of these rings that activate when you're low. I just don't find them very reliable, so we're just not going to deal with those. And this Havel's Ring will allow me to equip some more heavy equipment with very little with very little consequence to it. I'm just going to switch up some gear real fast, and then I will show you where this actually leads to. Because if you went the direction that I went to, here you can see we re-enter the Undead Burg. And for anybody wondering where the Undead Burg is, if you don't remember, it's actually the very first zone of the game. Well, not the very first, but we are up underneath the Taurus Demon right now. So does this look familiar? Normally we'd kill that sniper up in that tower. There's a bunch of guards waiting for us. But we're going to go open up a shortcut into the next zone, and then I'll probably do a bonus zone that is not required, just for the sake of doing it. So we come up, and remember, up here in this barrel, there's normally a crystal lizard, but because we killed it, it does not respawn. And now we're just going to sprint. Ooh, I still have that heal? Okay, cool, I still have a talisman. Sorry guys, I haven't played this game in like a week. My job kind of... It's taxing for me at the moment. I'm not very talented at my job, although I get loads of compliments. It's not the job I want to have. Alright, so here I showed you guys what happens when you scare the dragon off. And clearly we don't see him coming. But if you scare your dragon off, this little spot here on the ground, just run up to it and sprint back, and if you look up, he'll be right there on cue. I'm not exactly sure where he comes from, but yes, if you're wondering what happened to your Drake when he's coming back, and he's not a dragon, he's a Drake, that's where he is. And I'm not yet capable of taking him out. I will show what I feel is the best way to take him out. I never recommend melee. It's just a very easy thing to die against if you try to engage. Sorry, I'm flirting with a girl, and she just responded something very cute. So anyways, this door was earlier inaccessible, and when we went through this Drake's zone, we got a key. I want to say it was towards the end. It might have been in the middle. No, it's towards the end. After you kill the boar, there's this giant gate that you're able to lift up that opens up kind of like a small shortcut for you. Right on the other side of that gate, on a dead body lying at the base of the stairwell, is this key. So you get this key, and that will allow you to unlock the next zone. And no, you do not have to kill the gargoyles. So we're going to get on this ladder, slide down, because it's probably not only the safest thing, but look at that drop. That's going to kill anybody. And we are still technically in the Undead Burg. Now, before going down, I would recommend that all of you come up instead. That's what she said. But you can unlock this shortcut. Get these gentlemen out of the way. And you're probably not going to recognize where you're at, because this game, this is where things start to intertwine. And here I'm just going to abuse the backstab. But there's actually a bigger reason that we're coming up here first. And that's to kill this crossbow guy. No, it's not to kill the crossbow guard. And that's where your kick can be very powerful. But no, we're actually coming up here to rest at this bonfire. Now, in a sense, a lot of you are going to be confused because I just ran in the most ridiculous type of circle ever. And yes, that's true. I quite literally did. Hidden body, we're going to switch out for repair real fast. And we are going to repair all of our gear. Just so I don't have to worry about that too much. And then we're going to go back to hidden body because I will be able to show that off quite well in the next area. But basically what I would encourage you doing is resting at that bonfire. That's the whole reason we came here. And probably the only reason. I'm comfortable enough that I could have just ran through the next area. But rather than worry about that too much. And here is where you'll start to see my aggressive side, is that we've already been through this area. I have a weapon that's doing enough damage that I can depend on. So I'm getting a bit reckless. But yes, if you upgrade your weapon a few times... Oh, well, hello. Where did you come from? Uh-oh, you dead now, fool. Plunging attack! Oh, that plunging attack makes this game so useful. Alright, so anyways, you'll come back down here. So this is the entrance that we came out of. Going up would lead us back down to up to the Undead Burg. And it's actually kind of funny because this game does intertwine over itself multiple times. But if you come down here, we have a new enemy, which are dogs. Now, dogs can cause bleeding damage, which I think makes sense. But basically, hold up your shield until they hit your shield, and that will give you a half a second stun to get off your attack. Just enough to get off an R1. And that's all you need to get off, really. I want this dog's attention, but don't go chasing after him. So instead, we're actually going to go the opposite direction. So here we have some doors. Can't enter. Can't knock it down.
Somebody. Please let me out of here. Somebody. Anybody. Help me. Unlock the door. Damn. I'm finished. How did this ever happen?
So here, for the first merchant in the game, you can buy the residence key, and there's two huge things to get in here. Number one is this body in the corner, which is going to give you the full sorcerer set, along with a sorcerer's catalyst. Ironically enough, that sorcerer's catalyst will probably last you if you're building an intelligence character or relying on spell damage. That wand will probably last you a very long time in the game.
Brilliant. You opened the door for me. Thank you. I'm saved. I thought I might never escape. I am Griggs of Vinheim, a sorcerer of the school. I am much obliged for your assistance. Thanks to you, I may now resume my travels. Oh, hello. I'm fine. I will rest a while, then return to Firelink Shrine. I have my sorcery, and I will be more cautious next time. Besides, I have an important task at hand.
Alright, so there you unlock the second big thing, and that is... you unlock your sorcerer trainer. So if you're building an intelligence build, if you are wanting to be a spellcaster, quite literally a mage... Oops, that was not spelled. This is where you would go to do it. Now these guys, even though they're dreglings, these guys will hurt a lot. They do a buttload of fire damage, and unfortunately, my armor set is actually weak to fire. But like many things in this game, just hold up your shield and learn what you're fighting. That's actually my biggest encouragement in this game, is that if you don't know what you're fighting, you should not be fighting it. Learn their attack set, learn what they do when they attack your shield. And there you can see I actually mistimed that a bit. But like anything, simple backstab will take care of it. 304 damage. Very nice. And I'm actually going to heal up just in case. Also, you'll notice that my hidden body spell already wore off. I barely killed like 10 enemies before it wore off. So just be careful if you're relying on your spellcasting effects to give you a huge edge. They don't always give you the largest edge, or they might give you a short-term edge. And of course I cast that the moment that... But Hidden Body is a very nice skill. Oh wow, now so this guy kicks open the door. Now this is actually a trap in the game, is that there is one guy here, and then another guy up here, hiding behind locked doors that we were unable to access. So what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to actually try to kill... Well, I didn't mean to kill them both, but that's just splendid. And we got a Hollow Thief Hood. I will eventually make a video going over all the armor sets, the pros, the cons. But here you get a new piece of equipment, which is the Mail Breaker. So if you're having trouble with Havel, I would actually recommend coming here, because whereas the Rapier that I have has 110 critical, this Mail Breaker has 120 critical. So if you upgrade this thing, it can do some massive backstab damage. Still not my favorite of weapons, and I'm not a big fan of just non-stop backstabbing and parrying. So, I mean, you'll see me backstab a lot just because it's extra damage and it's lower stamina usage and invincibility frames. So, lots of reasons to backstab. But obviously backstabs can be hard to line up. Now here you see me, I'm looking down the hallway because I can see this dog. Holy crap, he actually dodged me. But, nice and simple. And the reason why is that if you go too far forward, all these guys are going to break out. Now these guys don't have anything too impressive except for one aspect. There we go, got the two down that I wanted. Oh shoot. There we go. That is a parry stance. So what happens is when you try... That's weird. There it is. When you try to attack them in that parry stance, they're going to go behind you, or they're going to counter you, And that is their parry animation, which I think is pretty freaking boss. Really disappointed that the game did not make, like, a similar one for daggers. And there you can see the heal took me freaking forever to accomplish. But whatever. Got my heal off, keeping up my 10 Estus flasks. Alright, so now that they're all dead, there's actually one last enemy. Another last dog. Come in here, get ourselves a humanity for our troubles. Very nice little... Oh, Lost Soul of the Undead. That's right, I thought that was a humanity. Now, generally, you're always going to want to check rooms, but, this is also Dark Souls. Don't be too bold when checking. I mean, always walk into a room with your shield up. But here, we were gifted with the Thief set. So if you haven't made a Thief, or if you want a parrying shield, that is where you can get the target shield. Now, normally, you would just walk through a fog gate. But again, I always encourage you guys, be aware of your surroundings. Sometimes there is a hidden path. So we're first going to go down the hidden path. And here, right around the corner, we do have one thief. And I feel bad that I'm not really showcasing what these guys are capable of. But there he goes to his parry stance. So a jumping R2 is your counter attack to that. So we're going to come around this way first, and we have a locked door. Womp womp. But we're going to get another Lost Soul of the Undead, which is weird because I thought that was a twin human... Oh no, the other one's a twin humanity. Alright. I hear arrows. So sometimes you also want to just listen patiently, and it'll pay off. And two of the last things we're going to be doing.
You still have your senses about you. Then why won't you buy some of my moss? I need your souls. This is a wonderful place, don't you think? We have water, moss, moisture, these nice iron bars. I like it here, I really do. Nothing good ever happened to me in life. But now that I'm undead, I've never been happier. So you've come to this land at a bad time. There are nothing but hollows in these parts. Save for me, of course. You're undead too, aren't you? You be careful then.
So yeah, this vendor's quite creepy, but she sells you some really awesome things. First of all, she'll sell you blood red moss clumps, purple moss clumps, and blooming moss clumps, which reduce bleeding, poison, and toxin respectively. If you like PvP, or if you're getting invaded a lot, or if you just like poison effects, you'll have to play around with these poison throwing knives. You won't see me use them, to be honest with you, but they are a really fun PvP weapon, very good thing to have. Dung Pie turns enemies toxic, but also affects the player. Another thing that you'll see in PvP is people will carry these around, because not everybody's gotten to the point in the game where they have the purple moss clump, or not everybody has it readily equipped. So poison and toxin can give you a small advantage. I wouldn't necessarily depend on it, though. And actually, I think I just learned something about these dung pies that I never realized before. So I'm going to have to do some testing in my future. Here you get Alluring Skulls. So if you really like that item, if it's really helping you get off some backstabs on enemies. Havel, I didn't show it off, but he will be attracted to an Alluring Skull for about a second. Easier way to get a backstab off on him. The main thing that she sells that I would encourage you is these two pines. Charcoal pine resin and poison pine resin. So I'm actually going to buy one of each of those just so I can show them off. I probably will not be using them steadily, or maybe I'll do some multiplayer and then use them later. Transient Curse. Temporarily curse allows engagement with ghosts. That's not useful yet, but eventually we're going to come across that and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, so that's what those items were for. And then she does sell you homeward bones. We have 7 because I'm pretty stingy on them, but they're there. And then Prism Stone, which is a path marker. Drop and listen to check for heights. I actually will buy a few of those, and I will show them off later. I'm not sure how soon that's going to happen, but I do plan to show those off eventually. And then she also sells humanity. So if you have 5,000 souls, you need humanity, bam. She sells you Purging Stone, which Oswald, I believe, sells for 3,000, so not that great of an item. But now she also sells you arrows, and she's probably going to be your favorite arrow vendor for a while in this game, being that she sells you fire arrows, poison arrows, and large arrows. If you like bolts, she does sell you the heavy bolt, which is a very crucial thing in terms of bolts, but as you can see, it's 100 souls apiece. And you can't target with them versus a large arrow, so I don't know why you would do that, especially with fire arrows and poison arrows being readily available as well. However, I'm not a big fan of the fire and poison arrows, and I just killed Havel, who's super weak to poison, so that's another thing. If you're having problems with Havel, get the poison augmentation, get poison arrows, get poison darts, and kite him around for a bit, which sometimes cannot be easy. Be very careful if you try to kite Havel. But you can poison him, which makes the fight go a lot simpler.
Come again, if you please.
I love that. Not as much as the male vendor in the Undead Bird. But last but not least, guys, we're going to run down here, and then I will do some backtracking and meet you in the next video, because we will be taking on a boss. But just to show where this leads, this is a shortcut that you open. And this hallway is not going to look really familiar to you unless you go up or down. If you go up, we're all the way back in the first, like our first zone of the game. We're in the Undead Bird, which means that if you keep going down, you'll go to Firelink Shrine. This was a door that in episode like 2 or 3, it said, you know, door is locked from this side. So that is how you get around to unlocking it. Tune in next time, guys, and we're going to fight the boss of the last area, and I will leave that to be a surprise. Ta-ta.